All right, Jordan, we'll let you kick us off here. We'll transition to the open Q&A stuff here. So good, and unmute and let us know what you're thinking.
Okay, so an issue we've been having lately is we're having a hard time with scheduling because we're booked out like 2 weeks and we're in a service company. So I'm wondering if any other company that's had or that runs like a service, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, whatever it is, what your guys' ideal time is to like respond to a customer's call. So like currently right now we're about a week and a half to 2 weeks out, depending on like the size of the job to get to a customer. And what's ending up happening is like we're calling the morning of or the afternoon of where we're scheduled. And that customer at that point is then telling us, hey, sorry, we had someone come out soon or we're canceling the appointment. So when you're in a position where you're paying for GLS leads and things like that,
Oh, looks like we might have lost you there, Jordan. Is that just me? Or did we lose him? Okay.
I think we lost him.
Looks like he's coming back. So it sounds like, okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically I'm wondering what the ideal like response time is where you have boots on the ground at a customer's house, because what we're ending up with is our schedule is about a week and a half to 2 weeks out right now. And when we've got scheduled jobs, but when our tech calls like, hey, we're on the way, they inform us, sorry, we already had somebody come out because of the long wait time and we're canceling the appointment. So I'm wondering like what the ideal wait time is, because obviously like 2 weeks is too long. And just trying to see what other people who have navigated those waters, like what their ideal customer calls, we have boots on the ground at their property,
Yeah. Good question. We can give you some feedback. Any other clients in the service industry have some feedback here for Jordan first?
Hi, Jordan. It's Laura Pierce with Pierce Electric. So I've run into this recently, and it's not something we have experienced in the past, but in fine-tuning our sales process, I'm now asking for a non-refundable deposit at the time of booking, and they can reschedule, but they can't get their money back. So that may help you weed out the potential people who are, not committed to waiting for you.
What is that fee?
I'm San Francisco Bay Area, so I'm charging $89.
Gotcha. And that's just a fee that you collect at the time of the phone call.
Basically, whether they've approved an estimate or it's over the phone commitment, then I send them the booking, confirming the appointment will be reserved once we receive your deposit. And the deposit's non-refundable, but we can reschedule. We appreciate life happens, kids get sick, whatever. That's fine, but we're keeping the $89.
So you don't schedule them until that's paid?
Correct.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Okay.
I mean, if you're having
I think it's a good solution for sure. We tried something similar to that over the winter, and we got a lot of people that just moved on. But maybe that's different during the summer when it's more busy.
Well, and you may need to play around with whatever the fee is. But if you're sending guys out to somebody's home or your project and they're like, oh, sorry, we picked somebody else. I mean, that cost you $100 right there. 2 guys in a van to go to a job for the day. And then, the people flaked on you.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, that's just the nature of the business. And, I don't know if it's just society has changed or because we've been doing this a long time, that never happened years prior. And it's just something that we're experiencing more recently. So I'm sorry, it's frustrating.
Laura, are you describing like just a service fee, like charging an $89 like diagnostic?
Basically, yeah, it's like the $89 seems to be kind of a sweet spot for us where people don't lose their mind, and it's an estimate fee. It's a um, site visit fee for whatever. If it's just to come out and figure out what you need done, and then we can do an estimate there on the spot. And if it's something we can do right now, then we'll do it. If not, we'll circle back. So we're just trying to cover what the cost is to send one of my people out to a site, whether to do an estimate or do the install.
Yeah, it sounded like that's what you were describing. Unless there's a unique situation, I believe that every service company should be doing that regardless of how busy that they are. Jordan, do you not charge like a fee for a guy to come out and do like a diagnostic?
Okay, so I
together
would
an
be
estimate?
looking, I would be looking at Monday.
1 second here.
Would that be okay? Okay.
She's booking one with the $89 fee on it right now.
Yeah, she's like, no, it costs $89. That'd be so good if she just said that. She was like, it costs $89 for us to come out. Are you there, Jordan?
I think
I
he
know
just-
that popped off maybe.
Yeah, I think he hit the wrong button possibly.
Yeah, that would be the coolest cause and effect I've ever seen. If we could, as we're talking about adding a service fee, she gets a call from a customer and then immediately says like, no, it costs us $89 to come out. So here's what I have found. It's like, obviously, customers like don't want to pay a service fee. And so what typically happens is there is a disconnect with how you are communicating the value to that customer from what you're charging in the service fee. So that's the issue. The issue isn't that necessarily people can't afford $89. The issue is that someone doesn't understand why they would need to pay that when they could maybe call someone else and not pay that. And whenever you are in that scenario, whenever someone's just saying, well, I'll go with this other guy where I don't have to pay as much, you are a commodity to that customer, right? They view you as a commodity. So I want to be sure that that's like clear. I don't mean that to sound like a tough message, but like Redmond Growth, Wealthy Contractors, we don't sell based upon commodity. We sell based on value. And in order to sell based on value, you've got to be prepared to communicate your value in these situations where you're having someone say, well, hey, at $89, I don't want to pay that. So here's a line. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share a script that works. This script works, right? It doesn't work on every person, but guess what? You don't want it to work on every person, but it works on the people that you want it to work for. And so, part of what you need to be prepared to do is if you're going to charge additional fees, right? Like at Power Builders, we recently changed our project management and scheduling fee. We run cost plus. We recently changed that to 15%, from 5% to 15%. And my partner was all nervous about the price increase. And I was like, dude, we have so much value that we bring to the table that literally I'm unaware that any remodeler in the whole entire state of Washington does as much as we do. They may be out there, but if they are, there's not many of them. And if someone bucks back us on price, Bryce, is this the sales training? Or is this in the sales training? Joey had a question.
Yep. I see it.
If someone bucks back on price, then they view you not as, they don't understand your value, right? Do you guys know who Alex Hormozy is? Anyone know who Alex Hormozy is?
Yep.
No. Alexander knows who Alex Hormozy is. You guys need to check out Alex Hormozy's stuff. Specifically, get his book, $100 Million Leads. It's only like, if you listen to it, it's only like 4 hours to listen to. Alex is probably one of the best guys out there. Yeah, Mosey Nation. There we go. Alex is probably one of the best guys out there at explaining this concept that I'm talking about. Right? This isn't like a unique to me concept. This is like a fundamental business concept. This is what the best brands in the world know. Right. So if this isn't in sales training, we need to add this to sales training because this is like a really important fundamental thing. I'm not sure what sales training Joey's specifically talking about.
Sales
I know
University for service techs.
Okay. Yeah. That's, I think you can make an argument that part of this is included there, but I don't know if we talk a lot about this concept of Redmond growth, about like your unique value selling from there. So why do we focus on a one sheet so much? Right? We focus on a one sheet so much, not because it's just a helpful sales and marketing tool, although it is that. We focus on a one sheet so much because people need to have a way to understand the true unique value that your business brings to the table. Otherwise, the only issue becomes price. And that's when you become a commodity. When I say commodity, what I mean is that the customer views you and all your competitors as basically the same, and they're just making a price decision, right? That's what I mean by commodity. It's like an example of commodities is like cell phone service. It's kind of a commodity thing, right? All you have is different cell phone carriers that are, inventing kind of new offers, but it's all at the end of the day pretty much costs fairly similar depending upon what you get, unless you are going with like Boost Mobile or something. So that's the concept we're talking about, is commodity versus value.
Yep.
If people are saying no based on price, there's a lack understanding of value, which makes it your responsibility of the business owner to communicate that value. We do that through our 10-step sales process, right? That sales process is built around value. From the text messages that are sent, the emails that are sent to confirm appointments, like everything about that sales process, we're building value. And the way that you build value is by educating the customer on the unique benefits that your service, that your specific company, not other people, your specific company brings to every job that they will not get with other people. And you're communicating that in a way that actually makes sense to somebody. Right? Like if the offer wouldn't work on you, then it's not going to work on a customer. Like you guys need to be looking at your business. You need to be looking at your unique value proposition, your one sheet, and you need to be saying, oh, hell yeah, I believe in this. Like, yes, we really do offer incredible value. Like we really do take care of people, right? Like people will absolutely have a better experience with us. But you got to come up with a way of being able to communicate that that's outside of just, hey, we're a family-owned company. I don't know if anyone makes a buying decision based upon a family-owned company. Like Walmart Walmart is a family-owned company. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of family-owned companies. I don't know why people are saying this. So all that to say is back to the script. And I don't know where Jordan went because this is like the answer for him. But I want to share it all with you guys since we're talking about it. So in Rogers Plumbing, before he even mentions like price, they explain what value that they bring whenever they're running a service call. So a lot of people are like, oh, that's not necessary. Like, I don't need to say that on a script or whatever. Like I've won jobs without saying this. Of course you have, right? But you haven't won jobs maybe at like addressing the problems that at the price points that fix the problems in your business, right? Like we're talking about for Jordan. So what Roger says is like, hey, here's what you should expect for your first visit. We know your time is valuable, which is why I'll send a fully trained technician to your home with a truck stocked with thousands of parts. We call it our warehouse on wheels. The fact that they name something is really important. The fact that they have a name for part of their unique value is important. It's something that the customer can hang on to and remember, oh, Rogers provides a warehouse on wheels. The other guy just sends it like a van or a truck. Which means most repairs can be done right then and there while you're out your home, unless your problem's unusual. This not only saves you time, but it saves you money, right? You're going to end up saving money, even though I'm the higher price guy in town, because we have everything that we need in the job. We can get the job done quicker. My technician will always do a thorough examination of the problem and will spend time with you, helping you understand the problem and the proper procedure to repair it. He'll give you a straightforward cost in writing before any work begins, so you know exactly what it cost. We have a small audit and diagnostics fee for sending a professional out. It's only $99, right? And that's how they pitch their service call. They're not mentioning the price until they mention all the value. So what's the value? Right? The value is that, first of all, we have a licensed and trained technician coming to your home. This is a pro, right? This isn't chucking a truck. We have a licensed, trained technician. He's going to be arriving on what we call our warehouse on wheels. Our warehouse on wheels is stocked with thousands of parts. Most guys have to run to the supply house and they charge you for it. We don't do that. We already come prepared, right? Third thing he's going to do, he's going to do a full diagnostic. He's going to examine every part of the problem and accurately determine what needs to happen. And then, fourth value, you'll get an upfront cost in writing, and you're not going to wait till the end to pay for your bill, right? This is hugely valuable for even me. I recently had an electrician come to my house. It wasn't a Redmond Grove client, and he was a good electrician, right? He came to my house because I needed to mount a couple TVs, and I know a lot about construction business, but do not give me a screwdriver or power drill. I will always make it worse. I've tried. I've worked for construction companies before. I've tried. I never graduated beyond the labor position, right? The cleanup job. Anyway, so I get his help hanging TVs. And like he gets to work and he has like a tech with him to help him out, like a apprentice or something. But like I'm never getting a cost in writing. Like he's started the job. And I'm like asking him, like, hey, I don't want to spend more than this amount. How much is this going to cost me? This is like when he was halfway, like he had already hung one TV, he was going to hung another. I was like, how much is this going to cost me? And he's like, oh, I don't think it'll be more than your budget. Like still not able to tell me how much it is. So, okay. So I'm giving this example to showcase and demonstrate how the value that, as an example, Rogers Plumbing brings actually makes a difference to me as a consumer. Oh, I'm willing to pay for someone to show up, do a full diagnostic, and give me a cost in writing up front. And then what you can do as well on a service fee specifically, if you want, is you can say, and if we do your job for you, we roll your service fee right into the total price. You can view it as a deposit, right? You'll have an $89 credit towards your job already. So now we've secured the job, right? We've built value for the customer, which will prevent them from calling someone else, right? Because they don't know what they're going to get with someone else, but they know what they're going to get with you. We've collected money for the time it takes to actually send someone that we're paying out to the job, you know, to do a diagnostic. And then we're securing the job in the future, even if it's scheduled out later. It's like all these great things happen to it. That's why Laura Pierce does it, right? It's why I said a second ago, hey, every service company should do this. But it becomes really hard to do that if you're just telling someone, hey, we can make it out on Wednesday. Does that work for you? Okay, great. It's going to be an $89 diagnostic fee. $89? What? You know, that's what the customer's saying. Well, if we build the value beforehand, and you build value by communicating the unique value that you bring to the table, then people will understand, oh, I'm paying for something that I want. I'm paying for something valuable with the $89 fee.
Something
The
that I'll
way
add.
that
Oh, go ahead.
just the way that I've heard Roger, whenever he's talking about this several times, is he just always says value before price. I've heard him say it like 100 times in regards to the script, because I don't want to just say, hey, it's $99 to get us out there. It's I'm going to build the value before I ever get to, hey, I'm charging you to come out to your home. I'm telling you what all you're getting for that first, which I think is just overarching important concept for all of your team to know. for every aspect of the sales process. It's always value before price.
Yeah, and I would add to that too. If your thought is, oh, this is a lot of words, like this is a lot to say before I get into it. If you run through, like actually do a role play of having done this, it won't be more than 15, maybe 30 seconds. And the value, the benefit that you gain from that is well worth it to be able to do it. It's worth that 10, 15 seconds. It is not that hefty of a cost to pay. People don't get bored and tune out or whatever. It's worth it doing every time, like Travis said, value before price. For sure.
Jordan Berry also spent a ton of time on that with his CSR, because when they first implemented it, he ran into some of those same things where some people were declining it. But Jordan, I think you spent a lot of time with Mariah, right? Just going over that singular part of the script. Make sure that she knew what the value proposition was and how to communicate it effectively to people, to where now that service call fee is just not really as much of a sticking point anymore. I don't know if you're still on the call.
We spent a bunch of time on that, the most time on that particular area. And one thing we were doing, I don't know why we did it before, but we were mentioning a $65 call first and then trying to add value. And she felt like she was a race against the clock to now add the value. And one day I was like, hey, let's try putting the 65, because we charge 65. Let's try putting that at the end of the script and see what happens. And immediately, because I checked back in with her the next day and I was like, how does that feel? And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel rushed. I feel like I can explain everything, and then at the end, it's like, all this is just $65. And so we're adding the value of letting them know, like, our process is to give them an estimate in person so that we can actually be accurate. We're going to actually evaluate their project, make sure that we give them options, educate the customer and help them understand, what's going to need to be done. All these things were like adding value, and then on top of recently, we've been calling it a truck roll, like to roll a truck out to the house. People seem to be a lot more understanding when they understand, like, oh yeah, gas is money, time is money, and $65 is nothing. I mean, to get somebody out to your house. So anyway, we went from, I don't know the full metrics because I didn't measure in between, but like before I got Mariah, we were closing like maybe 40 to 45% on appointment sets. And right now we're sitting at like 90 to 100% of anybody we have contact with, whether it's message, lead, or phone call.
Yeah,
Monumental
that's
difference.
that's what Roger was doing, like 80 to 90%, would book 80 to 90% of his leads for an appointment too. Yeah, that's really, really good. It's so key. And so we're talking about Roger. He's not a client anymore because he sold his business. So success, right? But we have a training where we actually interview Roger. I did an interview with Roger on a group call where he talks about this exact concept that we're talking about, like in a 45-minute training. So like we actually go through the script with a guy. We made the script together, but with a guy who like uses the script that I'm talking about. So Jordan, what I'd recommend doing is, and for anyone else, is watch this video. And I'm putting in the chat right now. You can just use your Roman Growth membership login to get access to that. But that's what I would do, is you're going to have a lot of pushback to the $89 if you're just saying it's $89. Like no one's going to pay that. But if you build the value before, and you have to work on it, right? You have to really identify, hey, what are those unique things? They're there, but you just need to work on how to communicate them. We can really help you with that, right? That's something that we're really good at doing, is helping extract that. There's a number of tools that we use to extract someone's unique value. But that's what I would do is I'd follow that script. I'd watch that video where we explain the script. And if you do that, then you should be good. Which this concept that we're talking about isn't just applicable to like service calls. We're talking about a concept applicable to literally every single person in this room. And the concept is that if you want to sell at prices that will actually produce a reasonable profit for you as a business, Alex Ramosi would say outrageous profit, right? I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying like a reasonable profit, 20% profit. You've got to know your value and communicate your value before you ask for the sale. Our Redmond Growth sales team is trained in a way where, and we did this with every single one of you guys before you signed up for our program, whether you realize it or not, is we are trained for, booking new clients for Redmond Growth Consulting. The first thing that we do is we identify problems, right? We need to understand what's happening in your business and what you want fixed. Then we explain specifically the value that Redmond Growth will bring to fixing that solution, right? And so if we're not doing that in your sales process, then you're losing opportunities because of it, or you're selling at a price that is too low. If you lead with value and you really believe it, you've got to really believe it. How do you really believe it? Well, apply it to yourself, right? If, someone who provides a service that you provide was coming into your home and was communicating this value to you, would you really care that much about it? Right? If the answer is no, then we got to make it something to where, hey, I really believe in this value. I know the other people that are out there, and I know the headaches that they come with them,
Yep. Austin, I know you had a question. Was it on this topic? Or if it's a different one, we'll have Jordan go first.
No, it was the same thing on my electricians. I just discovered the other day because we were talking about weeding out people mainly on our phone calls and wasting time going to them, and then they get 15 other people and they go with the cheapest guy. They said they do 65 in North Texas per call, and right then it will cut out a majority of the people. They're just looking for the deal. I don't know the spiel they go through at first, but they said that has helped tremendously to cut back the guys that are just kicking tires and looking for the cheapest deal on them. And whenever I call people, I'm a general contractor. I ask them for budgets right off the bat. So if they're wanting to change their whole house and they're looking for $20,000 worth of work, I will not do their job if they do not give me a budget that they're trying to stay within, or unless I know for a fact that they have unlimited funds on it. But that's helped tremendously too, from wasting time going from job to job on it. And that's really all I had.
Yeah.
We noticed that because we thought, oh, we use the 65 to weed out, all the non-serious customers, but I have found the more we refine our process that the problem was us mostly. We weren't adding enough value to that $65 call for a customer to want us to come out. And so we haven't gotten into 2 weeks out for schedule, because I remember all this kind of started with that question of like, how do you fix customers canceling appointments? We schedule out maybe a week to a week and a half still, and we haven't really experienced a lot of canceling. Now, the one thing we do get that I don't think you have much control over is, I need it today or tomorrow.
Sure.
But we track those, and lately, just with my work with Redmond, I can do everything in like half the time. So I can spend mornings in the office in the afternoon running calls, rather than turn away that call, I've just decided, you know what, until we can hire, that extra tech, I'll take those in the afternoon myself. And that kind of helps for now, at least with the same or next day customers. Those I don't think you're really going to change because they've already determined they want it today before they even call.
Yeah.
So they're just going to call the next one until they find somebody that does it. But I think the process and how you add your value makes a big difference in terms of customers wanting or not wanting to cancel, because it's like, well, we've scheduled and, now we've got somebody else, but we're also weeding those people out on the call just through our process too. If they call and it's like, well, we need it sooner, we're having enough conversation with them to find out whether we can fit that need beforehand, rather than just hurry up and schedule their call and find out on the day of and then have holes in the schedule that you can't fill in. So I've just process and constantly fine tuning, how you talk to them on the phone, listening back to those calls, doing regular training, with your phones people. That's what's been the biggest difference maker for us, I really believe, when it comes to that particular issue.
Yeah. I'll chime in with something a little extra here. For guys like Irv, if he's still in the call, where you don't have an office admin, I just feel like it's important to say this. It is worth setting down your tools or pulling over if you're in the car for the 5 minutes tops that an inbound call takes to actually take down the information and spend time enough with them. Because truthfully, those calls are really only 2 to 5 minutes in most cases. So it is definitely worth the time taken to do it again.
I have two important people in my life, my wife and my phones gal.
I thought you had 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, Travis. I'm sorry. You're right.
He's like, I'm sorry, I don't. It's just 2. Laura, you got something to chime in on?
Yes, thank you. Great conversation, especially about the proving your value. And that's something that we have not implemented a lot in the past, but more recently with the service side of things, it's been the game changer for, really honoring your value, believing that, and stepping into that power and conveying it to the customer. It's like magic. So there's some great podcasts that I don't have in front of me, but I'll have them for next week. I don't want to derail the conversation, but Robert, I was instructed from my coach to plant a seed with you, and maybe it'll be something we can talk about in the next or future call. But Redmond has a fantastic spreadsheet for figuring out your break-even rate calculator. I don't know what the name of the sheet is, but where I'm struggling with it right now is my year's worth of financials reflect mostly large commercial work. So the numbers aren't really accurate for figuring out what my break-even rate is for service. And I was looking for guidance on maybe how you would approach massaging those numbers or manufacturing them, because I feel like maybe I just know the numbers aren't right, and I'm struggling with getting them there for our price book.
Yeah, so the first thing I'll say is, so the question is, how do we figure out a break-even point if we can't really rely on last year's P&L, right? Because the nature of our business has changed, which is a real question. It's a real question. It's a good question. So the first thing I would say is that even if it's not as accurate, still using what you have is more reliable than not using, like not having a break-even number, right? So even if you did have to say, okay, well, we know based upon our commercial work that our break-even number is this, like that's better than nothing, is the first thing I want to say. Second thing I'd say is to not worry about looking at like a whole year's worth of data. Try just doing it over the last 3 months. Or whenever you have, just even if it's just the past month, like whatever the most recent time period is, that will more accurately reflect the kind of business that you're doing now, just use that time period, right? Because like you can likely figure out a break-even point, even because whether or not you're doing commercial or residential, the chances are that your overhead expenses probably aren't all that different. The main thing that would be different in commercial versus residential is your cost of goods sold would probably be a lot more different than your overhead, right? So figuring it out based upon what your overhead is now, regardless of the kind of work that you're doing, is still valuable. But even if you can just take a recent quarter, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, whatever it is, right? Even if it's just a month, to say, okay, let's look at June. Our June books are done. They're accurate. We did more service work in June. So let's take June number. And all a break-even formula is, and it can be kind of difficult sometimes getting to the spot because of like the changes in business and stuff. Like I've been through this before. Let's say that you had like a customer pay you a lot of money up front, right? But like the job is a multi-month project that you're going to be spending money on, for months after the client pays you. Well, that can also negatively impact your P&L because it looks like you're doing a lot more income and have a lot less expense than what's actually going to happen, right? So there's factors like these you have to consider. But all a break-even, finding your break-even point is taking your total expenses, your overhead costs, the costs that don't change regardless of how much that you sell, your rent, any payroll that's like salary based, insurance, advertising, your accounting, like any of those expenses that your software that don't change month over month. And then you're dividing that by your gross profit margin, right? Everyone know what gross profit margin is? Who knows? Who can say? I got a lot of heads name. What's your gross profit margin? Jordan, what's your gross profit margin?
Cost of goods or revenue minus cost of goods sold.
Bingo. That's your gross profit margin. Whatever that percentage of your income is, that's your gross profit margin, right? So if 65 or 70%, let's say 70% of your money that you get is being spent on subs, labor, materials, then you have a gross profit margin of 30%. To find your break-even point, you would take your overhead costs. Let's say your overhead costs are, $15,000 a month. So you divide $15,000 a month by 30% or 0.3. And that would tell you the amount of sales that you need to hit each month to break even. Yeah, I like what Jordan said. It's monumentally more accurate than pure guessing, 100%. And the other thing is this, it's not just the accuracy. Having a number, even if it's not 100% accurate, that you need to work towards each month is really, really big. That will dictate a lot of decisions that you make as a business owner. It'll dictate how much your pricing is. It'll dictate how much your pricing is will dictate how you approach your sales process. It'll dictate your marketing decisions. Do we need more leads to hit this volume? But finding your break-even point, it's a very important principle because that will tell you, hey, month over month, come hell or high water, I've got to have this amount of cash coming in my business. Otherwise, I'm going backwards. Laura, did you have one more thing? Your hand's still raised. I don't know if that was from before or.
Probably from before. I think it'd be good next time as well to go further into this and maybe showing the tool. So I think it's a great suggestion you had there, Laura, to kind of seed the idea here, and we can maybe even start with that next week as well.
Yeah, that's what I would challenge everyone this week to do is find your break-even point. Find out how much do I have to sell each month, not to earn a profit, but just to pay for everything. I'd love to hear people's feedback next week, right? Other thing that we really talked about that's really, really big is selling based on value. You have to Communicate the value before you give the price. Every construction guy, remodeler, anyone with a longer term, like bigger project construction business, you have to communicate your value using a one sheet during that first appointment, during that first walkthrough. Here's how you do it. You do the walkthrough, you gather the vision for the project, the materials, you ask the questions, right? And then just before you head out, you say, hey, I know there's a lot of contractors that you can use. What are you really looking for whenever you're looking for a contractor? Just by asking that question, the customer is going to be blown away, right? Hey, what are you looking for when you're looking for your ideal contractor? Then they'll tell you, a few things. They'll probably tell you, oh, I haven't even thought about it. Then they'll tell you a few things. And then you say, well, hey, here's what makes us different from anyone else that you're getting a bid with. You're taking them through that one sheet. Here's our unique value. Bam, bam, bam. So for us at Power Builders, like our unique value proposition, here's what we say. We say first thing with us is that there's no mystery to the way that we come up with our price. You can know exactly how we get the price on everything that you pay for. There's no mystery markup. There's no padded inflation. There's no padded numbers. We charge a standard hourly rate. You pay what we pay for sales and materials. We charge a 15% project management fee to cover our overhead. We charge a 20% contractor fee. We believe that's a reasonable profit. Second thing that we say is you will know where every penny goes for your project the entire time. You don't have to come to us to find that out. We bring that to you. We schedule a bi-weekly meeting with you so you can stay on top of everything with the project. And in that bi-weekly meeting, we generate a financial report that shows you where every dollar, where every penny went for your project. Right? Third thing that we say is that you have your entire project at your fingertips. With Builder Trend, we give you your own customer portal where you can get access to your project 24/7. You can know what's happening every day with our daily logs. Our whole team does daily logs. The schedule's coming up. You can make a change order request. You can approve materials all in one app. You can go on vacation and be managing your remodeling project whenever you need. Next thing is our team. Our team is literally guys that other professional carpenters call in order to get guidance and advice, right? And then lastly, we offer design services. So that's our unique value. There's no remodeler coming into a customer scenario, at least in our market, that's doing that. And people are literally being wowed by it whenever we do. We're attracting a higher clientele. So know your unique value. Have your team make your unique value. We went over time a little bit, so I'm going to wrap up. But really appreciate you guys. Let's talk more about break-even point next week. Okay, growth on 3. Countdown. Unmute your mic. Oh, Michael Middleton's ready. I see him all ready to go. He's been waiting for this.
Just
all right.
let us know,
3,
I guess, what happens.
2, 1. Growth.
Growth.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great week, everybody.